Going back in time, an ancient civilization that ties to the Shona people, called the Mapungubwe, was a kingdom of the Shona people that flourished in southeast hills of the current Zimbabwe land from the 11th to the 15th centuries. The kingdom built several huge stone cities using bricks and no mortar, and their ancient stone structures was registered as UNESCO cultural heritages because they still stand to this day. One of the structures was Great Zimbabwe, which has since become the name of the country, a name derived from Zimbabwe, which means the house of stones. The civilization traded with merchants from around the world, mainly from Portugal, China, and the Middle East, as evidenced by the excavations made. As Mapungubwe's trade began to decrease, the Mutapa Empire, which existed since the 13th century, took power, and this rule extended as far as Mozambique. Mia Simba was in rule at the time and was at the helm of the activities going on then. In the 15,000s, Portuguese attempted to attack the fortified Mutapa Empire, trying to get the land scored to the detriment of the Portuguese. Effectively establishment of factions that deserted the place was a key factor to the decline of the Mutapa state as well as depletion of resources. In line with the nomadic style of life that the Bantu people had for centuries, migration was the next action, and this is how the Great Zimbabwe ruins got deserted. They are now actively preserved as a heritage site for the Karanga Shona people, who are direct descendants of the royal bloodline. And then, in the early 19th century, a minority called Ndebele came down to the land of Zimbabwe. Two Europeans who were integral in the colonization of southern Africa were Star Jameson and the founder of the world-famous diamond company Dubious and Consolidated Goldfields, Cecil Rose, who got his mining rights from the Ndebele leader, Robengula. The contract Rose used was in English, and it contained a clause that gave him ownership over the entire mining area of the locals' territory, which Robengula did not comprehend when he signed it with an X. Rose deceived the chief by saying that only 10 white people would join locals mining. Later, when the chief discovered what had happened, Rose said that the contract could not be lifted, and two wars broke out between the white and the Ndebele people, namely the Matabele were, because the Ndebele people were called Matabele by Europeans. Cecil Rose's army brutally massacred the Ndebele people with the Maxim guns. Fast forwarding to the 20th century, where Zimbabwe was a British colony, a white man named Ian Smith and few other white people set up a government called Rhodesia, trying to separate themselves from the British rule. Local black people who opposed this new government fought by forming guerrilla groups such as ZANU and ZAPU, who received extensive training in Russia and China before coming back through backroot channels with the assistance of leaders from neighboring African countries like Zambia, Mozambique and Tanzania, to mention a few. After the independence, first President Robert Mugabe, an independent hero who is also regarded as a dictator, has been in power for 37 years. His economy policy brought a severe hyperinflation which destroyed the country's economy by making 100 trillion Zimbabwean dollars in 600 Korean won. We'll go into the details of why it happened next time.